If you drive a Volkswagen, you're one or two totally normal maintenance decisions away from a bill that feels unreal. The scary part is it usually starts with something simple: an oil change, a top off, a quick service you didn't think twice about. And then months later, it's, why is it burning oil? Why is it overheating? Why does it hesitate under boost? Why is the transmission acting weird? And suddenly you're staring at a quote that's not a few hundred, it's thousands. Today I'm walking you through the VW maintenance mistakes that cost people the most money. Mistakes that are incredibly common, even among careful owners, because Volkswagens are less forgiving when the basics are slightly off. I'll show you what people do, why it turns expensive, and what to do instead so your VW stays solid without you throwing parts at it. If you want your VW to last, and you want to stop funding surprise repairs, this video is your shortcut. Mistake number 9, using the wrong enough oil and stretching oil changes. A lot of VW owners get hit with a massive repair bill and swear it came out of nowhere. But if you rewind the story, it usually starts with something boring, an oil change. Because with Volkswagens, oil isn't just oil. What happens all the time is someone goes to a quick lube shop or a general mechanic, and they pick an oil that looks right. Same viscosity, European formula, synthetic, all the good words on the bottle. Or the owner grabs whatever's on sale because it's the correct weight, and it runs fine, so nobody thinks twice. The problem is VW engines, especially turbo VWs, care about the spec approval, not just the weight. That approval is basically VW saying, this oil can handle the heat, the turbo stress, and the way this engine is designed. When you use oil that doesn't truly match the approval, or you run it too long, it doesn't usually blow up immediately. It wears things down quietly, and VWs are really good at hiding it at first. You might not notice anything for months. Then it starts small. A little hesitation when you get into boost. Rough idle you can't explain. Oil consumption creeping up. Weird noises on cold start. Random check engine lights that come and go. People start chasing coils, plugs, sensors. And the real issue has been building the whole time. This is where it gets expensive. The turbo is often the first victim. Turbos rely on clean, correct oil flow, and they run insanely hot. When oil breaks down or leaves deposits, it can restrict flow or cook onto parts inside the turbo. You don't always get a dramatic failure. You get a slow decline, and then one day you're dealing with smoke, low boost, or a turbo that's simply done. Even if the turbo survives, that same wrong enough oil plus long intervals can lead to sludge and buildup in places you can't see, tiny oil passages, timing components, valve train areas. And once oil flow becomes inconsistent, you're not in the maintenance world anymore. You're in the diagnostic world, which is where money disappears fast. So the fix is simple, but it has to be done correctly. Don't choose oil by viscosity alone. Choose it by the VW approval listed on the bottle. If it doesn't clearly show the approval your engine calls for, don't use it. And if you want your VW to last, especially a turbo model, don't play games with long intervals just because the car feels fine. Oil is cheap. Turbos and engine work are not. Mistake number 8. Ignoring water leaks and clogged drains. The "my VW is haunted" problem. This one doesn't sound like maintenance, so people don't treat it like one, until it wipes out electronics and turns your interior into a sponge. On a lot of VWs, water doesn't always drip dramatically from the ceiling like a cartoon. It sneaks in. A little rain, a car wash, condensation, and the first signs are so easy to dismiss. A musty smell that comes and goes, windows fogging up more than usual, the carpet feeling slightly damp, or weird electrical glitches that seem random. One day the parking sensors act up, another day the infotainment reboots, Another day, you get a warning light that disappears. That's not your VW being temperamental. That's usually water getting somewhere it absolutely shouldn't. Here's how it happens. The drains under the windshield cowl, sunroof drains, if you have one, and the plenum area can clog with leaves, dust, and gunk. When those drains can't do their job, water backs up and finds the easiest path, often into the cabin, under the carpet, or down into areas where wiring and modules live. And the brutal part is what happens under the carpet. VWs tend to have thick insulation padding that holds water like a mattress. The top can feel almost dry while the bottom is soaked, so people don't notice it early. Meanwhile, that moisture starts corroding connectors, causing intermittent shorts, and slowly turning one weird glitch into a full-blown electrical problem. This is where the cost explodes, because now you're not fixing a leak, you're diagnosing ghosts. Shops spend hours chasing faults. Sometimes modules get replaced. Sometimes wiring repairs happen. Sometimes the carpet has to come out to dry properly, and if it sits long enough, you're dealing with mold too. The bill stacks fast, and it feels unfair because you didn't break anything. You just didn't know drains needed attention. The simple move that saves you. Treat drains like a maintenance item. If you park under trees or you live somewhere dusty, check the area under the windshield cowl for leaf buildup and debris. If you have a sunroof, don't assume it's sealed like a submarine. It's designed to drain, and those drain paths need to stay open. And if you ever notice damp carpet, a musty smell, unexplained fogging, or weird electronic behavior after rain, don't wait. The earlier you catch water intrusion, the cheaper it is. The longer you ignore it, the more electrical problems you'll mysteriously develop. Mistake number 7. Cheap ignition coils and spark plugs, and the "it's just a misfire" trap. A VW misfire feels like a small problem until you keep driving it or fix it with the cheapest parts you can find. People throw in bargain coils and random plugs, the light goes off, and they think they won. Then it comes back, sometimes worse, because VWs are picky about plug type, gap, and coil quality, especially on turbo engines. The expensive part isn't the coil itself, it's what misfires do over time. They can overheat and damage the catalytic converter, wash oil off cylinder walls, and stress the turbo under uneven load. And if the wrong plugs are used, wrong heat range, wrong gap, you can end up chasing boost issues and fuel issues that are really just ignition parts that don't belong in the car. The safe move is boring, but it works. Use the correct plug spec for your exact engine, replace plugs on time, and don't buy mystery coils just because they're cheap. A quality ignition setup is way cheaper than a catalyst or a long diagnosis bill. Mistake number 6, trusting lifetime transmission fluid, especially DSG. Lifetime fluid sounds nice, but on a VW, it can get very expensive. DSG and many VW automatics don't just use fluid for lubrication, they depend on it for pressure control, heat management, and smooth clutch engagement. Over time, the fluid breaks down and gets contaminated, and the transmission starts giving small warnings. Rough shifts when cold, hesitation off the line, a shudder in slow traffic. If you keep driving like that, you're no longer preventing wear, you're accelerating it. And that's how a skipped service turns into mechatronic problems, clutch wear, or a big diagnosis bill. The fix is boring but powerful. Service the transmission on schedule, use the correct fluid, and make sure the shop follows the proper fill procedure. Mistake number 5, ignoring the PCV system until it causes mystery oil leaks and drivability issues. On a lot of VWs, a failing PCV system turns into a chain reaction people don't see coming. It starts with small stuff, rough idle, A whistling noise, random lean codes, oil consumption creeping up. Then oil leaks show up in places that look serious, because bad PCV operation messes with crankcase pressure. If the PCV fails and pressure builds, it can literally push oil past seals and gaskets. That's how owners end up thinking they need a major seal job, when the real root cause is a PCV that's gone bad. And if you fix the leak without fixing the PCV, the leak often comes right back. So you pay twice. The smart move is to treat PCV problems early. If you get the whistle, rough idle, weird lean codes, or sudden leaks, check crankcase pressure and the PCV assembly first and use a quality replacement. Mistake number 4, cheap parts for cooling and belt drive, water pump, thermostat, belts, to save money. This is where VW owners accidentally pay double. Something like a water pump, thermostat, belt, or tensioner needs attention. And the temptation is to go cheap because it's just a plastic pump or just a thermostat. The problem is, on many VWs, when these parts fail, they don't fail politely. A weak water pump can start with minor coolant loss and then suddenly overheat. A thermostat can stick and make temps swing up and down. A bargain belt or tensioner can squeal, slip, or wear fast. And the worst part is labor, because even if the part is cheap, getting to it often isn't. So when a low-quality part fails early, you're not just buying the part again, you're buying the labor again. That's how a saved $80 becomes an extra $600 to $1,500, depending on the job. What makes it even worse is that overheating on a VW can snowball fast. One overheat event can stress hoses, sensors, the expansion tank, and in extreme cases, warp or damage engine components. So the cheap part isn't just unreliable, it's risky. The better approach is simple. For cooling system and belt drive components, prioritize OEM or proven quality brands. You don't need the most expensive option on earth. You just need the option that won't fail early and force you to redo the job. Because with these repairs, labor is the real price tag. Mistake number 3, ignoring small booster or vacuum leaks until they turn into turbo and diagnosis money. On turbo VWs, a small boost or vacuum leak can look like nothing at first. Slight hesitation, weaker pull, rough idle, mileage dropping, or a check engine light that comes and goes. Most people keep driving because it's still fine. But the ECU starts compensating, fuel trims drift, and the turbo works harder to hit boost targets. That's when the symptoms get messy. Surging, inconsistent acceleration, whistling/whooshing sounds, underboost codes. And instead of fixing a simple hose, clamp, diverter valve, or intercooler connection, people start guessing. MAF, O2 sensors, coils, even the turbo, while paying for diagnostics. Best move? If a turbo VW suddenly feels inconsistent, get the intake boost system checked properly. A smoke test is ideal before you throw parts at it. A small leak can be cheap. Ignoring it is what gets expensive. Mistake number 2, cheap fuel is fine. Running low-quality gas and ignoring early knock signs. This one quietly beats up VW engines, especially turbo models. People fill up with the cheapest fuel they can find, run lower octane than the car really wants, and ignore early warning signs because nothing sounds wrong. But the engine is constantly adjusting in the background, pulling timing to protect itself, and that means less power, more heat, and more stress under boost. You'll feel it as lazy acceleration, inconsistent pull, random hesitation, or it doesn't feel as quick as it used to. If it keeps happening, you're increasing the chances of carbon buildup getting worse, spark plugs working harder, and the turbo and cooling system running hotter than they need to. Best move, use reputable fuel, run the octane your VW is tuned for, especially if it's turbo, And don't ignore new hesitation or knock-related behavior. Saving a few bucks at the pump can cost a lot more later. Mistake number 1. Overheating even once. I'll just make it home thinking. This is the mistake that turns a minor cooling problem into a painful repair bill. Your VW starts running hotter than normal. You get a warning, the cabin heat suddenly goes weak, or you smell coolant, and your brain goes, "I'm close. I'll just drive it carefully." That carefully doesn't really exist when an engine is overheating. Even a short overheat can stress parts that were otherwise fine. Seals can weaken, plastic housings can warp, hoses can get brittle, sensors can start acting up. And the worst part is, it can look okay afterward. The temperature drops, the car drives normally, and you think you got away with it. Then days or weeks later, you're dealing with repeat overheating, coolant loss, rough running, or leaks that seem to come out of nowhere. So the rule is simple. The moment it overheats, you stop. Pull over, shut it down, and address the cause. A tow feels like a hassle, but it's still cheaper than what one "I'll just make it home" drive can do to a VW. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of most VW owners, because these cars don't usually fail from bad luck. They fail from small maintenance decisions stacking up over time. Fix the basics the right way, stay on top of the early warning signs, and you'll save yourself the kind of repair bills that make people give up on the car entirely. Now I want to hear from you. What Volkswagen do you drive, and which one of these mistakes have you seen the most? Oil issues, overheating, DSG problems, boost leaks? Drop it in the comments, because your experience can save someone else a ton of money. And if you want more VW-specific tips, maintenance guides, and the stuff most shops don't explain, subscribe to Volkswagen Hub. New videos every week to help you keep your VW running strong, avoid the expensive traps, and enjoy the car instead of constantly fixing it.